Michigan. Sell me on Michigan, Flannel, because we know what the questions are, right? You technically don't know who the quarterback is right now. I forget what the exact number was. I do have it right here in front of me. They were a veteran team last year. They were number 7 in NCAA college football and experience last year. They're down to number 117 with just 7 returning starters. Sell me on it.
All right. The easiest start to the selling point is that they're probably going to have the best defense in the country, and that's going to keep them in every single game that they're in. That's what's going to be the key to in games like the Oregon game and the Ohio State game in particular to hopefully keep the scoring down for Oregon and Ohio State. And also the key to this defense with the Michigan Wolverines. And I think they're going to have this advantage every single game, and it's a very important advantage. Michigan has the type of defensive tackle duo that every school dreams about. They're the type of defensive tackle duo in a Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant that if Michigan has this magical run where they go for a repeat is going to be on Sports Illustrated someday, even later on into the season, because they're that good. And teams like Texas, teams like Oregon, and teams like Ohio State, they do not have the interior offensive line in order to block those guys. So that means quarterbacks like Dylan Gabriel and Quinn Ewers and Will Howard will be feeling the heat up the middle, and some of the great running backs that those teams have, like Quinshawn Junkins and Travion Henderson, are going to have some trouble getting going. They also have Will Johnson manning the secondary. Nobody is going to throw on that man this year. You saw what happened when Ohio State did it at the beginning of the game, and Will Johnson got the interception that led to the first score of the game. You saw what happened in the national championship game during Washington's first possession out of the half when Michael Penix threw one to Will Johnson as well. And they also added a transfer linebacker in Jayshon Barham, who is getting comparisons to a bigger Devin Bush, which I would certainly love if I were being a Michigan fan. The question is the offense, and whether or not the offense has enough to sustain them, if they're going to score enough. However, they do have one of the most talented offensive players in the country in Colston Loveland, who I think will be the perfect safety net for whoever quarterback it is, whether it's Alex Orji, whether it's Davis Warren. They have that superstar, in my opinion, college superstar tight end to throw the ball to. Donovan Edwards is certainly looking for a bounce back. And if you want a little bit of hope about this offensive line, I know they lost every single starter. I know that they did. But Giovanni El Hadi, he's just been waiting in the wings while Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan are there. He's never going to play over them, but he has started games in Michigan, both in 2023 and 2022. Miles Hinton, he was the starting tackle at the beginning of last year. He just lost his job. Josh Preby, he started 3 years at Northwestern. The question is their center and their other guard their center and their other tackle who have basically been Michigan backups for a couple of years. If the defense is gonna show out, if this offensive line can be an approximation, not even an approximation, can at least be competent, if Colston Loveland can have a dominant season, if guys like Samaj Morgan and Tyler Morris can step up into wide receiver 1 and 2 roles, which they have showed some stuff the last couple of years, Michigan at least will be good enough to, at minimum, go 9-3. 10-2, and 9-3 or 10-2 will probably get you in. 10-2 definitely. And once you get to the playoffs, all bets are off. The only teams in the country to me that have the interior offensive line to combat a Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant are Alabama, who I don't think will be there, and Georgia, who I'm just going to say Michigan can't beat.
Yeah.
So that's my selling point, and hopefully some of your hearts and minds have been changed if you were doubting Michigan.
I just want to add real quick, the Sharon Moore factor. I feel like, this offense will be a little more expanded than what we saw from Jim Harbaugh in all those years he was here. Of course, they're still going to run the ball a lot, but it won't just be pro-style offense.
Well, it has to. It can't, given the challenges on the offense, it can't. You have to. I don't want to say gimmick it up,
but it's different.
Gimmick it up to some degree.
JJ was mobile, but Alex Orji is a way more mobile quarterback than what JJ was. When your best players are running back and tight end, then I just feel like you have to expand, do more option type stuff. I just think the offense will look a little better. And then if we want to use the argument for J-Mo, as far as like, in the NFC Championship game, he kind of proved that he will be there. You got to do the same thing with Donovan Edwards. I know his season along the way, he had some bumps along the way. He wasn't, the main running back in that role. But what he showed me in that national championship game, the ability is there. So
the talent's there.
Yeah.
No, and you guys know that. Like I know what I see when I see him play. But it always lends me back to, then what's the problem? Then what's the problem? Why did you have 500 yards rushing last year?
I think,
what is the problem?
Well, I kind of told you like what I saw when I saw him, which he didn't look like the same running back. I think the problem is that when you're behind Blake Corum, when Blake Corum is getting the job done and Donovan Edwards is not, he just fell out of favor with the coaching staff. When you've got a Blake Corum who just absolutely eats in short yardage situations, he had 27 touchdowns. Why would you put Donovan Edwards out there? And Donovan Edwards just continued to not produce. This year, he has no choice. Khalil Mullings is not a competition for Donovan Edwards at running back one. He's the complement. I think he's going to be a good complement, but this team, especially with question marks at the quarterback, is going to go as far as Donovan Edwards takes him. And I think that he's due for a bounce back year. And oh, by the way, just one more point on Donovan Edwards. He has shown a propensity both 2022 and 2023. He can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yes,
He's going to be another safety blanket for Aiden Childs or Davis Warren. When you got Colston Loveland as your tight end and Donovan Edwards catching balls out of the backfield, that's not a bad starting point to help insulate your quarterback.
Did you hear that, Spenny? That slip right there? Talked about Aiden Childs.
What'd I say?
Yeah.
Donovan Edwards would catch passes from Aiden Childs.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is does he know something we don't? Is he transferring, Spenny?
Not a chance.
Oh, did I say Alex? Did I say Aiden Childs?
Yeah, you did. It's
Alex
fine.
Orton.
I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I know what you meant. Detroit supremacy. Orji can't throw a football accurately past 2 yards.
We don't know.
We don't know. We have no
Thank
idea.
you.
He's a complete unknown. All we know is that there's going to be a lot of orgies in the end zone.
Right.
Because he is going to be the short yardage back as their quarterback.
Don't be surprised if his arm is better than what you think, though. Not saying that's going to be great, but
his arm's great.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to see if he can complete the 3rd and 7 slant. That's what I want to see.
Zenock says Edwards will be the best running back in the country.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that
He'll be up there, though.
I think Quinshon Junkins at Ohio State and Ollie Gordon might have
He's
something
going
to
to
say
be
about
seeing
that.
a lot of 10-man boxes.
A lot.
A lot.
That's fine. Get torched by Colston and Samaj Morgan.
Oh yeah,
I'm cool with that.
yeah.
Well,
Colston's a problem.
you can get torched, but can Orji get him the ball, man? Like that's the question.
We gonna see.
We gonna see. Absolutely.
But like I said, don't be surprised if his arm is better than what y'all think.
I have a get right, by the way, and it's almost too good to be true. Like for real, it's
Okay.
almost too good to be true. And I'll lean on. I looked a couple days ago. I haven't looked within the last couple minutes, but I looked a couple of days ago, and I saw Michigan is plus money to make the playoff. Plus money. And here's my takeaway from it. It's work to perfection, right? The schedule talk.
Yeah.
You know how I said this year they've already put the groundwork in
the
place.
losses
They're already
won't
talking
matter.
about it. The losses don't matter as much as playing it does. Because that's the narrative that's going to keep the Missouris out, the Iowas out, that's going to let the Michigans in, the Penn States in to some degree. It's going to be this. If you take away the Texas, the Oregon, and somebody said, Greg Round said it too, and I agree with you 100%. He said, what's Oregon done? Greg, I don't know either. Like this Oregon love fest that everybody has every single year.
No, seriously, why does it smell like caca and wee-whiz in here?
I don't get, Greg, I don't get it either. Like Oregon's this great big world beater. That's funny. They got their dicks kicked in by Washington twice.
Yeah.
And I was told how great Oregon's back, and here we go. And yet every time I see them in a big game, they're like a West Coast Penn State. Every single time.
Damn.
So I'm with you, Greg, 1,000,000%. The Oregon thing I'll never understand, just like I'll never understand the Penn State thing.
Yeah.
But I guess if you hype them both up, they play each other this year, right or no?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
Do they or no? Like I can't remember. Penn State, I think, doesn't play anybody.
I don't think
No,
Penn
they
State-
don't
Penn
play
State
each
doesn't
other.
Play Oregon. Penn State has a very weak schedule.
Yes, they do. They play Ohio State at home, and that's it. But if with the Michigan thing here, if you take Texas off the schedule, Oregon off the schedule, and Ohio State off the schedule, You take them off the schedule. They got Fresno State, Arkansas State, USC, Minnesota, Washington, Illinois, Michigan State, Indiana, Northwestern. There is no way. I don't care if Orji can only throw the ball 2 yards or not. There is no way they're losing one of those games. You got the best defense in the nation, right? That's
Yes,
what I was
sir.
told. You got the
Yes,
top
sir.
2 picks in the draft on that defense, right?
Yep.
There is no way they lose any of those games. For Michigan to be plus 120 to make the playoff is absurd to me. That's absurd.
I think people, and I know you disagree, I think people think they need 10 wins.
Yeah.
That's
Well, they're going to win one of those 3 games.
I
It'll
agree.
probably be Oregon.
I agree too.
I think it'll be Texas.
Mighty Oregon.
I think it'll be Texas.
No.
But anyway,
we'll see.
they get those at home, except for the Ohio State game.
Yep.
So they're going to win one of those. There's no doubt in
agree.
my mind they'll win one. If you have the best defense in the nation,
Yeah, exactly.
and you're playing them at home, you're going to win one of those games. There is no universe where Michigan doesn't make this playoff. No universe. Plus 120 is a gift. That's a get right.
right.
I don't even need the plus money.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you as a 1 unit. Straight up, that's a get right.
All right.
Okay. I mean,
It's an absolute. I don't see how this doesn't win.
Yeah.
I hope you're right, because I would love to see Michigan look for a chance to defend their title. And I personally believe that I've changed my stance a little bit. I think there's one team in the country that they absolutely 100% cannot beat, and that's Georgia. Everybody else,
It's fair game.
it's fair game.
Even Ohio State, fair game.
Absolutely.
And and at a worst case scenario, they're the first 9-3 team that gets in.
Yeah.
First, because they played those games.
Good losses. That's a new thing in this 12-team playoff.
Right.
Good losses.